What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back yet again, day after the last video. This is quite something, so that's why you need to put the bell on for your notifications so you know when I'm going live. Here for a match preview with Chelsea fan, good guy of mine, Carefree Lewis G, in the building, giving us a Chelsea perspective. How you doing, Lewis?
Better, not better than I was in recent weeks, but yeah, we're good. We're alive. We're breathing. So there's positives at the very least. We'll take that.
Yeah, listen, I mean, we're both in a bit of turmoil in terms of injuries. I mean, our situation is a little more dire to yours, but I guess it depends on the perspective of whether you're trying to stay in the league or whether you're trying to go for a league title. So it all depends from your perspective, doesn't it? But yeah, I want to hear from yourself in regards to your injuries that you've got, because I know that you've got a few. Just for the Leeds fans here, I mean, we've heard from Bielsa today. It's nothing much different to what I said yesterday in my video. So if you haven't seen that already, please check that out from yesterday. But again, there's players with the evolution of injuries. I think Bielsa is trying to bring back the Triple H faction of evolution. I think he's going there. I think he's going back for Ric Flair, Batista, Randy Orton, all of them, because he's been using evolution a hell of a lot this season. That's his buzzword. So we got Phillips is going to be out, and he even could be getting an operation on his hamstring and his shoulder to fix that. So we're having to redo Calvin Phillips like RoboCop. So it's going to be a sticky few months. And like some people in the chat here are saying, and shout out to everyone in the chat so far. Just in regards to my debrief mate here, Connor, thank you. Big up Sakib. It doesn't look like from his comments today, Bielsa, that January activity is very likely. Now, hopefully that's a smokescreen and we can say, they don't want to put all their cards out saying, yeah, we need all this. And that's how football clubs should do it. But just with Bielsa, you always just think, if they do offer him a player that's better than what we've got and he says no, it probably won't happen. So he's talking about remixing all the players and everything else like that. So I don't know. We'll have to cross that bridge when we come to it in January. But let's get to the game at hand, which is a weekend game against the very, very competent Chelsea. We've gotten through a little bit of a skid lately, if that's fair to say, from their defensive capabilities. But I'll let Lewis go into this. So, Lewis, what's the mood around the Chelsea camp right now with the fans?
Right now, I think you lot are playing us at the right time, to be honest. Like, injuries haven't absolutely ripped our team apart, but like we're suffering for it from a lot. Like the Ben Chilwell injury I've spoken about the last few weeks, but ever since we've lost Ben Chilwell, we've lost our fluidity, we've lost our dynamism on the wing backs, and because of that, we had another issue in attack. Like it's been clear that Lukaku hasn't really fit in with the rest of the attack, and part of the reason for that is because of how late he came into the season. We only signed him 2 days before the start. But that wasn't really a problem because we played most of our play through the wing backs. Now we've lost Ben Chilwell, who was so vital to our game, and we've got Marcos Alonso in, who's just too slow. He's not the sort of player that makes the wrong decisions. He's just a sort of player that he's too slow. Literally, that's the main problem. And it makes him a lot more predictable, and he makes him a lot easier to manage as well. And it also means that they can double up on Reece James. So that's killed our build-up play. And for a lot of teams as well, they're just going down the left-hand side. I expect you to do the exact same thing on Saturday, personally. But because of that, we can't really accommodate for the fact that now when Lukaku plays, our team is even worse in build-up play. And you saw that in the second half against West Ham. Just couldn't make a single thing when we brought on Lukaku. So, look, injuries have kind of have hurt us a bit. We're still going through a lot of players with minor injuries too. Jorginho's got a hip injury that he's been quiet about the last few weeks. I think Alonso's got back pain. I think there's another first team player that's got a back issue too, but I can't recall it for the life of me. But we've got a lot of players starting to pick up little injuries, and it's coming at the wrong time of the season for us. And there's a clear difference in our build-up play from Ben Chilwell being fit to Ben Chilwell being injured, and we haven't looked the same team since.
I mean, Tate Dillon here. I think Tate's a Man City fan. I don't know whether he's trolling here. I think he's a Man City fan. Maybe I've got that wrong, but I've never got why Chelsea fans don't rate Alonso. I prefer him over Chilwell. I mean,
I never
I
get
can't
this
personally agree with
statement.
that. Yeah,
I
I can't
never,
personally agree with that.
ever, I've never understood this. I don't get it. I need someone to tell me what Alonso brings that Chilwell doesn't, other than a good set piece.
Yeah, free kicks. It's probably the set pieces. It's a bit
People
like
said
why.
goal scoring and shit, but like Ben Chilwell came back into the lineup and bagged 3 in his first 3 games, so now he has that in his locker too. He's not quicker. His crossing isn't better. His dribbling isn't better. His strength might be better. Might give him that. Defensively, he's nowhere near Ben Chilwell. Transition he isn't. His positioning isn't better. What does he have? And I like Alonso. Great servant for the club over the last 5 years. But let's be real. Like, what does he have that Chilwell doesn't? Let's be real about it.
Yeah, is this the one from C1 London here?
Yeah, Ruben, that's it.
Yeah, is that right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, I've noticed it since your fullback went out, and even Reece James in the last.
Big up C1.
Yeah, he didn't look fully fit, Reece James, because he wasn't bombing on like he was previously. So I don't know whether he came back a game too soon. But in terms of your team, what I would hate personally is to see Ross Barkley start and do well in this game, because quite frankly, there's a lot of Leeds fans that think that he might be an answer, but he's not a good player, man.
My guy, you just did a little paradox there. You said Ross Barkley start and play well. That doesn't happen. Ross Barkley comes off the bench for 20 minutes and he's a good impact sub. I'll always give him that. This, in terms of starting, hell no. I never want to see Ross Barkley in the starting lineup. I don't care if it's a cup game. I don't care if it's Chesterfield in the FA Cup 3rd round. I don't want to see it. He ain't going to produce a good performance. I'm not here for it. Yeah, he's an impact sub, and that's it.
This is the thing I've said, and I've said it many times on my channel. We had Ross Barkley years ago, and I kept an eye on him because at that time, when he was a youngster, he looked like he could do everything with the ball. He looked like he was going to go on and be an absolute baller, but he hasn't progressed. His decision making is awful. His shots still go way high, wide, and handsome most of the time. He's still the same player to me, so that's why I just don't want to see him back at Leeds United, and hopefully he doesn't. That's not even an option.
You're not linked with him.
Yeah, I mean the press up here seem to link him more than anything. No. We can't do that. We can't do that. But Lewis, give us your thoughts on Lewis Bate, because for me, without injuries coming up, I want to see this guy play, and I think he's ready. A bit like Livramento at Southampton, and a few other players that you've got that have gone out. I think he's ready to step up to the Prem already.
I know he's impressed in the youth setup the last few years, but I can't sit here and act like I know enough about him. I really don't. I know he's just another one of our Cobham graduates that's looking very promising. I don't know if he's on loan this season or not, but I'm going to be real with you. I don't know enough about Lewis Bate. I'm not even going to try and pretend that I do still.
Okay, now, you see, and you know what? There's a lot of power in saying I don't know, and I appreciate that. So thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no worries. I'd rather just not waffle for 2 minutes, innit?
Honestly, that a lot more people would get further if they just said I don't know, rather than get clipped up.
Innit? So many people just chat the most shit about things of players and systems that they have no clue about. And it's like, well, just say you don't know, man. Like, no one's going to hold it against you. You don't have to be a football encyclopedia or nothing.
But listen, going on Alonso, I mean, that's an area. I mean, listen, we're down to the bare bones, basically, in terms of our real quality first team. It's going to be Rafinha or bust, in my opinion. And if Alonso's there, I can see maybe Rudiger going over and doubling up with Alonso. I definitely expect Rudiger to get a yellow card in this game, because he's not going to like some of the stuff Rafinha's going to come out with. And you know what Rudiger's like. He'll get into him.
Yeah, see, Rafinha v Alonso is a battle I'm not looking forward to witnessing personally. Big up yourself as well. I'm not here for it. I know Rudiger is going to double up, but like that's been Rudiger's role whenever Alonso plays. And you kind of, I won't say you see it have a detriment on his game, but when Alonso really struggles, Rudiger doesn't necessarily have a perfect game. And it's because he has to accommodate for 2 people. I've seen that in the Watford game, for example. He basically had the whole left side that he had to deal with by himself. And people were saying he had a bad performance. No, he didn't. He had too much space to have to deal with as a single player, because Alonso was just out of position or getting done all match. Like, I don't think Rudiger's gonna struggle in this game, but he's gonna have a lot of work that he has to do, and just gonna have to wait to see how it does. But we know what Rafinha's on. Rest in peace, Alonso, and all of that is peak.
Yeah, I mean, it's also on us to try and get the ball off you, because if there's one thing you guys are good at, it's keeping the ball. I know that you've got a few problems with injuries, but you still have got that quality way above than what we've got right now. And I mean, even with Calvin Phillips in there and other players like that, you still, as a Leeds fan, I'm thinking maybe we can go with the form you're in, go in for a draw and get out of London alive, and then move on to Manchester City a few days later. But oh man, I don't know. You know, the situation we're in right now, I don't know. I just can't see it being very pretty. And at some point, you guys are going to have to play back into form. And if I'm a Chelsea fan looking at this game, I'm looking at this Leeds United team anyway, plus with the injuries, and thinking this has to be a home banker, right?
I'm not confident going into a lot of games now the way that we've been playing. I'll be real with you. Like, we do have the capability to get a result against Leeds for sure, but we're making games a lot harder now, and teams are finding a lot more luck against us. So I don't really know how this game's going to go, because you lot are going to sit deep, you lot are going to be progressive, and you lot are going to give us a match. And I'm not shook or nothing, but I'm definitely not excited going into this game, because I know it's going to be a tough one for us, and we can't afford to drop any more points. Even though this is looking like a potential banana slip, and we have tougher games coming up as well. So, like, our form isn't in the right place. A lot of our players' mindsets aren't in the right place. We've got a lot of injuries. Tuchel's in his first bad run of form as Chelsea manager. It's hard to predict. It's really hard to predict.
Yeah, it is. And it surprises me that you don't think that this might be the game for you to come back in. And also with that whole having a go thing, we've actually been pretty, dare I say, pragmatic in the last few games. It hasn't been as heavy metal as it was before. Yeah, really. I mean,
but do you not think like the Bamford coming back is going to give you guys a bit more confidence?
He's out. He's out. He came
again.
Back, scored. Yeah, he came back, scored, and got injured celebrating. He done his
Oh,
hamstring.
for goodness sake!
Yeah.
Okay, well, my confidence has just gone up a little bit more now.
Oh Lord, there we go.
Because it was Bamford coming back that had me a bit shook. I was like, okay, you lot are missing an 18-goal a season striker for a club like Leeds United. That's gonna be very damaging to you guys. And now that he's back, you guys should feel a lot more confident. But now he's back injured again. Shit.
Yeah, we had two players come back in the last game, and then two players went out, and then oh god, yeah, Bamford went out afterwards. You could see it as well when you see him celebrating. He sat on the floor. And I think adrenaline was just keeping him going. But then obviously when the adrenaline wears off, it's like, oh, I think we're done for. So we have got quite a few guys out, but it's time for the other guys that are in the squad now to show what they can do, because Bielsa's backing these guys, and he's literally backing them. Rodrigo's a doubt, but again, Rodrigo's out of form. We'll be playing some players that are out of form in this game, Lewis. So Mateus Klick will probably start, and he's been an absolute ghost for us in the Premier League overall. So, yeah, I mean, it's not good.
Our players aren't in the best of form either, innit? So I think that makes both of us.
Well, listen, yeah. Listen, Scott Lightning, the secret is Gelhardt is better than Bamford. I mean, that's a big shout, but hopefully we see Gelhardt playing this one, because we'll need somebody like him in the team, somebody that can dribble at players.
Your second striker.
Yeah. Youngster from Liverpool, but he's a real good talent, and it's going to be up to him and maybe Tyler Roberts again to try and lead the line. But I mean, in terms of Chelsea and the title race, I mean, I always see it whenever you guys drop points or just barely win a game, which is usually the sign of champions, when you can barely win a game that you shouldn't have won. It just seems that anything that happens with Chelsea, they're just trying to get you out of that title race and get it back to Man City, Liverpool. Just like with Mendy, he had a bad game against West Ham, but overall the guy's been top quality. And yeah, I mean, as a Chelsea fan, how do you feel about that?
I'm not surprised with Liverpool and City. Like, they have this weird little loving with each other. But I've never seen a rivalry where they complement each other so much, and they're so in awe of the other team. Like, get a fucking room or something. But it's whatever. Like, I like being hated. I don't want us being loved. I don't want our rivals just giving us love eyes every time we're on the pitch. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. What is this shit? But it's nothing to be expected. Like we spoke about backstage, the media is basically Liverpool FC's B team, so it is what it is. Man City, it's the football, I guess. Everyone loves a team that plays the sort of football that Pep Guardiola prioritizes. So I'm not surprised that they get looked at nicely by the media too. Meanwhile, we're pragmatic Chelsea, even though we had the second most chances created and the second most goals in the league this season.
Yeah.
I would have said the least goals conceded, but I don't think that's the case now of West Ham. And plus, we've conceded in the last 3 games. So we've dropped that one. Is what it is. Injury tax is going to hurt us like that. But Liverpool and City want this loving so much. Like, I just hope we can get a left wing back soon, because that's going to be where the title's won and lost for me. Figure out that left wing back problem, or we're not winning the league.
Yeah. And Ryan here says, isn't Rafinha 1 yellow away from a ban? Yeah, we got a few players like that. And unfortunately, a lot of these yellows that we've been picking up are for taking off our shirt for scoring. And I think that's a thing of, because we ain't scoring that many goals. So when we do score, it's all hell breaks loose. I mean, we got a last
That
minute.
Leeds has a great atmosphere, so I don't blame them for just losing their heads.
Yeah, but listen, but Lewis, it's kind of like in context though, because when you're scoring a last minute equalizer to a Ivan Toney-less Brentford, you shouldn't be getting that gas. You know what I mean? You should just be taking the ball back goes back to halfway and resuming. I understand with Bamford, he was out for 2.5 months. He scored his goal on his return. But now look at the consequences of that celebration, man. I know you can't help it in the moment, but damn, it's
what injury did he get from that celebration?
I think it's his hammy. I think it's his hamstring.
Oh my gosh. That's the most frustrating thing going. Because, like, I would have got if he slipped and, like, maybe he had a bad landing or something. But it was him just running around celebrating. He pulled his hammy.
Yeah. I think it happened while he was jumping in the air or something like that. I don't know when it happened, but yeah, it's all mad. It's all mad, Lewis, man. We're just losing bodies left, right, and center. And we've got a tiny ass squad as it is, so it does not help at all. And that's what I'm thinking in this game. I mean, I stupidly predicted a 1-1 draw on another show I was on earlier, but I'm gonna say that we're gonna lose this game. And just before I get into the predictions, Lukaku, he looked in great shape when he came to Chelsea. Like, he looked slim and everything. In the last game, I did notice that he was a little bit heavier. Do you
a lot of people are saying it. I don't know if it's just me and I don't really pay attention like that, but I haven't noticed. I really haven't noticed if he's bulked up or if he's got bigger or anything like that. I don't know. I need a before and after picture in it or something like that. It's the only way I'll figure it out for myself. But everyone's saying he's got a lot bigger and shit. I feel like
I wouldn't say a lot. I wouldn't say a lot bigger, Lewis, but you could tell that he's not in the same like condition he came when he first. You know, when we saw.
You sure it's the way he looks, or is it the style of play that we're making him play at? Because we're treating him like he's a target man. We're not letting him roam around the attacking third.
He's not.
So his play looks slower.
No, I think I'm talking more his body shape than the way he's running, because he's just come back from injury, so he's going to be a bit slow. But again, this is like one of these games now where Lukaku might just feast. It could just be one of those.
I would hope so, but I think with you guys' pressing system, if you guys don't give him a lot of time on the ball, you guys either could force some bad touches off him, which you don't really need to do a lot to get, or you're going to force him into quick passes, which he's not really the best at. Like, he's okay at them, but he's not really the best at them. This is why he's not a target man. I don't know why we're playing him like one. You just have him drop deep, hold up the ball, and try and find a player. Like, that's not the sort of player he is. He needs to be making runs. He needs to be roaming around the attacking third, coming in off the right-hand side. That's where he's at his best. Not just playing like the way we played Giroud. We played Giroud that way because he was great at that role, but also because he was 35. And you can't have him run around the pitch. You need to have him drop deep and conserve his energy. Lukaku ain't that player. I don't know why we play him like that.
Yeah, no, just on Giroud, man. He's one of my underrated stars, man. You ask him to do a job, man. Giroud's going to do the job for you. You know,
most underrated player of the 2010s, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's magnificent. And you know what? You know what's always funny, and you can always tell when people don't actually watch the games. They say that he didn't score in the World Cup, but he wasn't supposed to. His role was literally hold the ball, wait for Mbappe and Griezmann and all these guys to come into play. And if you get a tap in, good for you. But if you don't, that's not what we've got you up top for. He was perfect in the role. Absolutely.
If perfect. He didn't, if that was such an issue, he wouldn't be starting throughout the tournament. Yeah, but there's a reason why he kept starting, which is why I don't really see why you look at goals when it comes to Olivier Giroud. That's why it's 50% stats, 50% eye test. The way I always say it.
Yeah, always with the eye test, man. That's me. But I just want to read out the super chat from Super Armania. Let's crowdfund and get Swift in the January transfer window. Club gets money and Bielsa sees what the fans want. Yeah, I think in all fairness, John Swift is one of those on Bielsa's list. Don't quote me on that, but I think he's one of those that Bielsa would actually take. But John Swift's going to have a couple of other clubs, maybe even Everton, Newcastle, a couple of those clubs that will be looking at him too. So we won't be the only ones if we do go in for him. But I hope we do see him here. In terms of the game, Lewis, what is your score prediction for this game? Do Chelsea come back into form and get the W, or can we get something out of the game? What's your score prediction? And everyone in the chat that's here now, give me your score predictions. If you're watching the replay, give me your predictions in the comments.
You lot are more than capable of leaving with a result. Definitely. But I do think I can still back Chelsea in this game, especially now I know Patrick Bamford's out injured. So I'll probably go 2-1 Chelsea. I hate 2-1s because they just sound like the most basic scoreline prediction you can give, but I expect goals in both sides. I don't really expect a lot from Chelsea, but I expect us to edge it.
Yeah, and just on this point, what Chris has made here, Leeds United need to park the bus. We can no longer play like last year. Because you mentioned earlier about our pressing and everything, Lewis, but it hasn't been as good as it was last season or even the year before. It's completely different now. Like we used to hunt in packs. We used to really swarm on players when we're getting the ball back. It's not happening this season. Not at all. It's been 1-on-1, maybe 2-on-1 if we're lucky. So things have
to be
changed.
fair, that style of play is really hard to keep going for a long period of time. So maybe it's one of those where you have to have a period where you don't play like that and then come back into that sort of play again afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. And this is why, I mean, it's a whole other video, which I've already discussed on my last one. But this is why the transfer window needed to be better, because we needed to move a few of these players out. Because like Dan James now, when you look at him on the pitch, he looks the most energetic one of our team because he hasn't done this system for the last 3 to 4 years. So he looks fresher than absolutely everybody else. And that's why we needed to get a few more bodies in. My prediction, I'm going to change it from a 1-1-1. I'm going to hope for the best. I hope that my team can do it, but I've got my football head on and I can see us coming out of this with a 2-0 loss. We don't score that many goals. And then Chelsea, you've got to get back into this at some point. And I just feel if I was a Chelsea fan at home against this Leeds United team and not getting 3 points, I'd be very disappointed. So it's up to us now to spoil the party. I always say that when I predict a loss for my team, I hope my team can prove me wrong and get something out of the game. That's always my thing when I predict a loss. Let me just get some other points here. 3-1 Chelsea from Paul Gray. Hate to say, but they will be too good. Tom can't see us getting anything from the game, but just hope we don't get a pounding.
Shit, confidence ain't there.
Yeah, it's just a quasm of our season so far, Lewis. It just hasn't been good overall. The performances haven't been there overall. It's just been in periods here and there. And we've won 3 games all season, so you can kind of understand the trepidation from the fans. Listen, Subramanya, sorry if I got that wrong. 2-1 Leeds. Hopefully, Geldhart starts. Hopefully. Well, just before I go, Lewis, we always have our little jokes about a certain player, ex-player of yours that's he's a legend of yours. He recently did a podcast with Gary Neville, and he said one of the most satisfying days of his life was knocking Leeds out of the playoff semi-finals, and that was a certain Frank Lampard. Now, after winning league titles and Champions League with your illustrious club, how do you feel about that phrase, that sentence that you come out with?
You ain't still salty about it, are you?
I'm not salty. I'm just giving you the latest news. Like Frank Lampard's in the family. He brought it up.
I might have to press X to doubt on that one still.
He brought it up and said that knocking Leeds out was one of the most satisfying things. And I think he's got the complex because, as I said to you before, when we played you when Lampard was there, you guys outran us and everything. You guys put absolutely everything into that game. And then you went on a bit of a sticky December. And he put everything into it.
Yeah, the more I deep it, yeah,
he did. He wanted it because I don't even think it's possibly Leeds United. I think it's probably more Bielsa that he's got the issue with. But then when Leeds United fans start getting on you, he was giving it us back, and I love that. I do love that, but I just think it's gone on a bit too long now. I think he needs to let it go.
I think it's a case of both sides, but this is why I'm also looking forward to Lampard coming back to the Premier League. And The one thing that annoyed me is how we never got to do Chelsea Leeds with Lampard in charge under a full crowd. Obviously, we got the socially distant crowd and everything, but that don't mean anything.
It would have been
2,000 fans.
It would have been spectacular, especially at Ellen Road, and especially if you had won. His reaction would have been, it would have been something to witness.
Or for your sake, if you lot got a result against him too, it would have been mad.
It would have been horrendous for him. But just going off the playoff semi-final when he did win, no handshake for Bielsa, just going straight in our centre circle, dancing around like a...
But any more fuming about the whole Spygate thing?
There was that. I think that there was a lot of carrying on over that, but then there was a lot of people that were basically writing Derby off in the second leg of that semi-final. And Leeds fans were just giving it him, especially when we went 1-0 up and it looked like it was over.
That was his first win against Leeds, wasn't it?
It was. What a time to do it as well. The fourth game of the season, he gets his first win, and it's the one that dumped us out the playoffs. But everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. So, yeah. But listen, people, thank you so much for tuning in. If you've tuned in live, if you're watching the replay, smash a like on the video. I've put all Lewis's socials in there on Twitter, IG. I've tried to link your name in the title, but it's not going in for some reason. So
that's cool.
His name is Carefree Lewis G on YouTube. I'll be back on Saturday after the game for my live match reactions. So join me then. Good or bad, rain or shine, I'll be here. So listen, people, take care, and it's out from us. Peace.